Hey everybody, welcome back to Now It's Dark. I'm Jim. I watched Immaculate, and this has been a review that's been coming for a few weeks, but I felt it appropriate to drop it today on Easter. So when you're done with your stale, dried up ham and boxed mashed potatoes, run to the theater and watch this today because it makes sense. So Immaculate, 2024 film, 1 hour and 29 minutes. It's got a pretty good rating so far on IMDb with a 6.3 star at the time that I filmed this. This is about Cecilia, a woman of devout faith, is warmly welcomed to the picture-perfect Italian countryside where she is offered a new role at an illustrious convent. But it becomes clear to Cecilia that her new home harbors dark and horrifying secrets. And boy, does it. And it's the perfect combination of nun shenanigans and priest and crazy convent secrets and things all rolled into one. So I really wasn't going to run out and see this. Um, I wasn't very familiar with Sydney Sweeney, and unfortunately, like my main movie exposure to her was Madam Web, and I just really wasn't impressed. But Sydney Sweeney just is all over media, and like she seems like she's so well loved that I had to look into it a little bit. And it's interesting that this film was a project that was uh, like starting around 2014, and it just never got its footing. It just kept getting sidetracked and pushed aside. And Sydney Sweeney ended up getting her own um, production company and bought out the rights, I guess, and just said, let's produce this herself. And boy, it's really good. I was really, really surprised. Um, when you see like a Christian faith horror film, specifically with nuns and convents, you think of god awful movies like Saint Agatha, and there's some similar themes with that movie in this one. Um, so yeah, they're I don't want to call them tropes because I don't know that this is a huge subgenre of horror, but there is quite a few movies. Um, this one does a really good job of making you feel like you're going right down the stereotypical convent nun secret thing storyline, and then it does a couple of massive swerves. And man, there was some stuff that I just wasn't ready for, which was great. I'm going to refer to my notes a lot because the thing with seeing movies in theaters and whatnot is I have to write down notes as I remember them. A lot of times, unfortunately, when I go to the movie theater, my first priority when the movie is over is to run to the bathroom because I have just like this little tiny baby bladder and I can't always make it. Um, this was written by Andrew Lobel, directed by Michael Mohan, and starring, as I said, Sydney Sweeney as Sister Cecilia, and Álvaro Morte is Father Sal Tedeschi. And there's a pretty good cast of a bunch of Italian actors and actresses all playing some um, nun or priest or something in the religious vein, because this whole movie takes place almost like 100% at this convent. There are some really interesting characters. There's if you watch the trailer, you'll see this isn't spoilery, but there's these nuns that have these red veiled faces, and those look pretty creepy. This movie does a lot of good lighting and musical mood setting and suspenseful tension, jump scary type stuff, and a lot of misdirects with lighting, and very very much felt like I don't know, The Nun itself. The movie The Nun is going to be an obvious comparison. Consecration to some degree, which is also an excellent film. A lot of movies where there's kind of like paranormal activity or you're not really sure what's going on. So there's a lot of build up, build up, build up. And that kind of happens in this. Like, I'm going to really keep this as spoiler free as I can because it's still pretty new. And I just don't like to spoil things for people. Like, I do highly, highly recommend that. That's why I'm going to be very delicate um, with my note reading. So yeah, Sister Cecilia gets to this convent, huge, elaborate convent. Um, we get some tension, at the beginning, and then it kind of fades. She makes a friend with another nun. She makes a sister of a sister, and then they do like this little out of place montage. It's not out of place, actually. All right, so they do this montage of like daily nun life, and like the different things that they go through during the day of chores and social time, and how they all get together and take one big bath together. Yep. Okay, that might have been spoilery, but yeah. So we get like this montage of things, and it's funny because there's scenes like that that plant like these little subtle things in your head that you don't realize are going to pay off later on. Like, at first, that scene seemed very whimsical and kind of out of place, but by the end of the movie, there are things that you will go, "Oh my gosh, that was way back in that montage." That was really good writing, really, really well done. Um, so there's just like a lot of creepiness happening. Um, there's a lot of priests and bishops that smoke, which is a weird thing, but maybe, I think this is set in a certain time period too. I don't know that it really mentions the year. If it did, I wasn't paying attention. Probably had my face in my bucket of popcorn. Um, but yeah, you get a lot of creepy vibes. And then Cecilia is suspected of possibly having broken her vows. And that creates a whole nother level of tension and craziness. And then the question, did Jesus knock up another virgin? Because now I understand. Immaculate. I didn't put together the title of the film until after this this Jesus shenanigans or something. We don't know what's going on. But yeah, Cecilia's got some issues to deal with. And then the whole parish or whatever, the convent, the nunnery, the the whole everybody starts treating Cecilia in a much different fashion. She's really elevated in stature because of her situation and what everyone perceives to be what is happening. There are a few people that are a little suspicious, and they probably were already that way before Cecilia got there, because this church, this Catholic church, these priests and things, there might be more going on than the general population of nuns know about, because there's a lot of them, and not all of them knew what was going on, because there's some definitely weird stuff happening. We do, like I said, the music is very good. Sometimes the music is so obviously designed to do the jump scares, and that's okay and that's fine. And then there's sometimes when the music will do the jump scares as well as just maintaining throughout the film a good mood. And I thought this movie does that really well. It didn't seem like it was deliberate just for jump scares. It had a good score all the way around. I guess this would be a little spoilerish, but it might get a few of you guys out to see this. I mentioned that little nun bathing situation. Well, there's a couple scenes with this public bathtub pool. It's like a jacuzzi, but it's bigger. And yeah, at one point, Cecilia, Sydney Sweeney, they're in this. She's in this pool, bathtub, hot tub, whatever. And they're never nude when they do this, by the way. Let me clarify. I'm not some creep. But she is wearing this white gown. I guess it would be their bathing gown or something. And unfortunately, when that white fabric gets wet, it does get a little clingy and a little transparent, which is also a trend on YouTube. You can search that out, transparent try-on hauls. There's a few of them on YouTube. Yeah, so then we get like a nun that dies in a mysterious fashion, kind of out in the open, which makes another nun kind of get very vocal about blasphemy and things like that. And then this must be a common olden time nun punishment, because they inflict quite a disciplinary action on this young lady to shut her up. And they did the same thing in Saint Agatha, that movie. So that's two nun convent creepy movies that have had this same exact punishment. So I got to think that there's something to that. Maybe I'll research it someday. So I'm going to get real skimmy here with some of the notes because I really don't want to give it away, but we do get a priest preaching the big plan and what the big secret was. And I wrote that it was huge and mind-blowing, and I never expected it, and it's true. So all of a sudden, we get to this point where Cecilia and this priest, are having a moment, and he just spills the tea, and he shows her everything and what's going on. And I'm just like, what? This just came out of nowhere, out of left field, and it was really, really incredibly creepy and wonderful. There are definitely some cringy, bloody and horrific things that go on in this movie, and there is a brutal kill. There is one massively brutal kill that was really good. I wasn't expecting that level of brutality in this movie, and I was happy that they didn't shy away from it, and it was really good. We get a good Cecilia, character arc. Obviously, she's the main character. We see her at the beginning, and we see her at the end, and the whole thing that she goes through is just crazy. But yeah, this is way better than Saint Agatha if you've ever seen that movie. If you haven't, it's probably on Tubi or something. That's where a lot of bad movies are. But yeah, I really highly recommend this movie, especially today. If you're watching this on actual March 31st, like I said, when you're done with that stale dinner and blah, Easter candy and eating really bad gas-inducing Easter eggs, just go to the theater and see Immaculate on Easter. I think it's a really good way to end your day. Let me know in the comments down below with some spoiler-free comments if you have seen this and what you thought, and maybe even just in general the horror, Christian faith horror genre, I suppose, with nuns. And I know there's a kink about nuns and things. There's a little bit of a fetish out there. Whatever. But there's a lot of old creepy nuns in this movie, a lot of old lady creepy nuns. And there's a couple young ones, like Sydney Sweeney. That's going to do it. Have a great day. Keep coming back to the channel for more great stuff.
Row 18, plot 20.